You attract what you are, not what you want. If you want great, then be great. Welcome to Trina Talk. This is the podcast where guests share their stories of pursuing their passions, living a fulfilled life, and empowering others. Each week, I talk with inspiring leaders, business owners, and people with amazing stories from around the world in unscripted conversations as they share their successes and failures. This podcast is all about empowering you to keep striving in your personal and professional life. I am your host, Trina L. Martin. Welcome to episode 177. I am delighted to announce that I'll be speaking at Women in Tech, Texas on 19th through the 20th of May, 2022. This event offers an immersive educational experience for like-minded women to access proven strategies and tools to support them in their mission to achieve their career goals. Registration is now open. Book your pass today and secure a 15% discount with my special discount code. And that code is WITTSPEAKER 15. And the website is www.women-tech-texas.com. The topic of this week's episode is Coach Me Strong. My guest this week is Jeff Seckendorf. Jeff is the owner of Coach Me Strong. He works with the Parkinson's community, and after COVID started, Jeff found that when gyms and programs closed, Parkinson's patients were not exercising and their diseases were progressing. Being a master bicycle racer and having been coached for a decade, Jeff applied the traditional endurance athlete coaching model to 3 constituencies: people with Parkinson's, other neurological challenges like MS, Alzheimer's, and traumatic brain injury, and the third group, which he calls Gen OW for Generation Older, Wiser. Hi, Jeff. Welcome to Trina Talk.
Hey, Trina. It's awesome to be here.
Hey, it's awesome to have you. You're doing a lot, but we've talked pre-show. There's something we want to focus on. But before we get into that, I ask every guest to tell the listeners who you are and how you became the Jeff that you are today.
Wow. So how I became me, I think a lot of it, what got me to today is serendipitous, right? I think it's the ability to see an opportunity and just say yes. And so, the practical story is I was a child photographer. I turned that into a young career as a news photographer. I turned that into an opportunity to work at a TV station and learn how to do video. I turned that into an opportunity to start freelancing in commercials. I turned that into an opportunity to start shooting motion picture film, which fit into my still photography thing. So then I became a director, cameraman and a director on commercials, and I shot like 1,000 TV commercials. Oh. And then somebody said, "Can you shoot a small movie?" And of course, I said yes. And that did really, really well. And then from there, another, and I started making feature films as a cinematographer. And then about 12 years ago, I had pretty much had enough of the film industry. And I think everybody goes through that with their career at some point. And I was like, I got to find another solution to it. And the film industry is awesome, right? But, I always considered my full-time job looking for work and my part-time job working. Okay. So I found an opportunity with one of my scuba instructors to actually start a scuba certification and training agency. So back in 2008, we started Unified Team Diving, UTD Scuba Diving, and I still run that today. I bought out my partner 2 years ago. And then that leads us to Coach Me Strong, which is what I think we want to talk about today. That's what got me here, right? So a couple of elements of a career, right? Photography, filmmaking, scuba, which is an education project,
Mm-hmm.
and then the coaching project with two very powerful hobbies in the interim. One is flying. I'm or was for a long time a competition aerobatic pilot, so I had that, and flight instructor and all that, and I race a bicycle.
Wow.
At the national level.
Wow. So your life is just as colorful as mine.
Yeah. No, and we were talking about that also before the show, and you've got some secrets in your background.
You're doing some things. I thought I wore a lot of hats, but yeah, you're doing some things. But let's go ahead and talk about Coach Me Strong, because that's something that I was looking at and it seems very interesting. And just go ahead, tell us about Coach Me Strong.
So Coach Me Strong it's an exercise coaching program, but if we focus on three very distinct constituencies for clients: people with Parkinson's disease, people with other neurological challenges, right? MS, traumatic brain injury, stroke, stuff like that. And then we have a third group of people we serve. And it took me a long time to come up with a respectable name for this group, because it's really the older population who still wants to exercise but doesn't know how. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's baby boomers, which I think is just a horrible name. And then there was the silent generation right before that, mm-hmm. which was worse. And then there's Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, right. Gen whatever. So I named this constituency for us Gen OW, mm-hmm. for Generation Older Wiser. So those are the three groups we serve, but we're primarily focused on Parkinson's as the core business. And, we take in Parkinson's patients as clients, and we align them with one of our coaches, and the coaches deliver them an exercise program daily, and they communicate with the coach each day, and we make them stronger and feel better. And it's in a lot of cases, it's because specifically in Parkinson's disease, Parkinson's is the really only known therapy that will slow the progression of Parkinson's, which is a progressive neurological disease, mm-hmm. is exercise.
Okay.
So these people have to exercise. Often their physicians, their neurologists will tell them this and then send them off into the world. So it's like, okay, you mm-hmm. have Parkinson's today, starting today, you have to exercise. And, part of our marketing tag is that, your doctor tells you have to exercise, but we tell you how. Right. So it's all focused on building a structured training program, a consistent program for these people who just have to exercise.
So what made you decide to do this and focus on the people with Parkinson's and MS and things like that? What made you want to do that?
So I don't know if we were talking about this before we started recording or after, but a lot of my life has been very serendipitous. Things show up. Mm-hmm. And so, by one reason or another, I had been doing some work for the local Parkinson's Association here in San Diego. I took my filmmaking background and I started producing some video content for them, because I still keep a hand in like small documentaries and things like that. And that sort of led to me handling their website and doing some of their IT and writing content for them and things like that. So if we just hold that thought for 1 second, in the scuba company, I built a coaching program to teach people scuba diving. So I'm a coached athlete and have been for a very long time. And the model that my coaches use for me is that we have a calendar. I get weeks of workout at a time, shows up every day. I do the workouts, mark them off, send my coach a note, and I get faster and stronger and better mm-hmm. as a cyclist. So I took that model and I put it in scuba, because I don't think you can really effectively learn anything in a 4-day transactional class, right? Our goal in scuba really is to, get the students safe,
right,
and to teach them how to practice properly.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, what if we took the coaching model, this endurance athlete coaching model, and put it in scuba? And so we reframed how we teach scuba diving within unified team diving, within UTD. We still have transactional classes, but we started the program where the instructors are now called coaches in this little piece of it. The students are called clients. We give them the same software that I use on my bike. We have a workout library. We have a calendar for them, and we take their course, open water, advanced open water, tech, cave, whatever it is, and we stretch it out over like 6 months.
Wow.
And they get workouts. I'm doing air quotes if you're not watching this, workouts. And, we drop academic stuff, maintenance on the gear, pool work. We add in nutrition, fitness, hydration, all the things I like. And so I had built this model, and it was very successful inside the scuba community. No one's ever done it before. So I was at a board meeting at the Parkinson's Association, to go back and answer your question from what seems like an hour ago. And one of the doctors said, right around when COVID started, which was, May of 2020, right?
March of 2020.
March of 2020. It was right around then. One of the physicians on the board said that her patients were having all sorts of trouble because gyms were closing, programs were closing, yoga's closing, everything's closing. And she didn't know how to get her patients to exercise. And, I just can't ever keep my mouth shut. So I was like, hey, I have this coaching model already built in my scuba company. Infrastructure, web thing, everything is ready to go. And I'm a coached athlete. I understand how fitness coaching works. I can put those two things together. We can build a company and have your guys exercising in like no time. And they were like, do it. And I did. So I started it with a co-founder and who was also on the board of the Parkinson's Association. She has Parkinson's, and she was client number one.
Wow.
And, within about 6 weeks, we had a company, a website, a team of coaches, the software in place to deliver the workouts and the communications part. And we started taking in clients, and it's been crazy successful.
Wow. Very interesting. And it's interesting because I'm a advanced open water diver, and I wish I had this course that you're talking about, right? This 6 months to just really perfect and learn the skill of diving. So you've taken that model and moved it into basically a physical exercising for people who have some kind, I don't want to say disability, but some kind of.
Yeah, we call it a challenge, neurological challenge. Because who wants to call it a disease?
Right.
That's just no fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what kind of things, because you said you have an actual structure to this. So what does that look like?
So structured training is a thing, right? And I can really only speak to endurance athletes, right? Swimming, cycling, running, and triathlon. But structure is the idea of creating a series of workouts that build upon each other and provide all the other needed stuff, which is primarily rest and recovery.
Okay.
So you would never go to the gym and do leg workouts 4 days in a row.
Right.
Right. But if you don't know how to exercise, you might just go for a walk 4 days in a row and call it enough. Structured training takes that and says, okay, you're still going to go for your walk, but Tuesday, you're going to do leg strength. Wednesday, you're going to do yoga. Thursday, you're going to do, core and flexibility. Friday. And it builds it up in a way that one thing builds upon another. And we build it. Structured training works in cycles, generally year, month, week. And so in the course of those cycles, we can see goals being reached and so on. And the other thing structure does is it provides consistency. Because any exercise program, particularly when we're talking about this constituency of Parkinson's, if it's not consistent, it doesn't work. So the clients who come in, the coaches in Coach Me Strong become the accountability partners, right? And the clients who come in realize that they're going to have accountability with their coach, and they become friends, and it becomes these tight relationships. So that structure is really giving somebody the ability to exercise within a cycle that makes the exercise as effective and efficient as it possibly can be.
So with your company and your program, do you have an actual gym where people can actually physically come and work out, or are you basically giving them the tools for them to do this on their own? How is that working?
Yes, B. So that was the same as from example, me and the bike. Right. I mean, I don't have my coach was in Boulder.
Right. Okay.
So, I get the workouts and I just do them. Now, of course, we started this during COVID, and that was kind of the point of it, that you couldn't see anybody or go anywhere. So the workouts would show up, you do them at home. Now that it's loosening up, we're starting to build some community events. I lead an online bike ride every week. We're getting some hikes going, things like that the community can participate in. But primarily, it's a program that's delivered to you. You do it at your schedule. Mark it as completed. Tell your coach how it went, and then move on to the next day.
Interesting, and it's interesting because of COVID. I know a lot of trainers who are just regular workout trainers or whatever have been doing things virtually on Zoom, things like that. And I would guess this is the same way. They have their plan, their exercise plan, and then their coach, I guess, checks in with them to see how they're doing. So what is your feedback with someone with Parkinson's? Are they actually taking it and doing the workout and keeping up that regimen that will keep them being strong?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. The software we use, it's the stuff that, athletes use. It's called Today's Plan, and it opens up a calendar for each client.
Okay.
And the workouts are red until you do them. And then they're green when you mark them as completed.
Gotcha.
So this reinforcement of we all look, the coach looks, I look, and the client all look. So when that calendar comes up and it's all red, it's like flags go off. So we have that positive, immediate reinforcement. We have some very OCD clients who just can't stand to see the red workouts.
Right.
And then we have other people who don't care.
Right.
They just do the work. What we charge the clients with is talking to the coach. Right. We want the clients to initiate daily conversations with the coach. And again, we do it through this app. So it's a quick text thing, right? You just shoot them a note. How'd it go? Went great. Had this issue. Want more of this. Need less of this.
Nice.
And so on. Now, there's another really interesting thing that happened with this too.
Okay.
So the Parkinson's community is generally older, right? I mean, Parkinson's generally shows up at people in their late 60s, 70s, things like that. So when we started this, we thought, I'm going to deliver this the same way I'm getting exercises, which is on a phone app and in a computer app. And what's going to happen to our constituency? We tell them they have to log on every day and get their exercises and send text messages back and forth and things like that. So Parkinson's has a cognitive issue component to it that it degenerates cognitively. And the best thing about a company are the surprise benefits you don't know are going to happen.
Okay.
Right. When you start something and then things come out of left field and you say, oh my God, that's an amazing benefit we never considered. All we ever talked about was this software being a liability for this older population. I mean, we have clients with flip phones, right? But we put them in this scenario where we force them to use the app, use the phone, get on the computer, use their dexterity to type their anyway. The interaction digitally through all this turned out to be a benefit on the cognitive side for Parkinson's.
Oh.
It's not everybody. I mean, some people are super savvy, some people are, but for some people, forcing them into this actually gave them a little extra bump during the day on the cognitive part. And I was really happy to see that happen.
Nice. Yeah, that is interesting because, like you said, the fact that the cognitive skills are declining and the fact that they have to do that, like you said, getting on typing and actually thinking, okay, this is what I need to do. This is the process that I need to go through. That's just amazing. And wow. So what has been the success with this? Have you heard any feedback from some of your clients that have gone through this? Are they saying they like it, they don't like it, they like it better? in person, what is the feedback that you're receiving?
So the first thing is we look at retention, right? So when we retain clients, we know it's working because it's self-pay. It's not very expensive, but it's self-pay. So if you're paying for it and you're still paying for it, then we know at some level it's working because nobody has money to throw out. Period. But then we see really interesting success stories that, again, stories we never expect. We expect the stories of, hey, I feel better, I'm moving better, my balance is better. We expect those stories. We had a guy come in, mid-70s, Parkinson's for about 5 years, and was told for 5 years he had to exercise. Finally got referred to us and says, I hate to exercise. My feet hurt. I can't walk. I hate to exercise. My doctor said to call you and you can maybe help me. And I was like, well, what do you like to do? I said, well, sit on the couch. So, me, I'm like,
that's not exercise.
That's not exercise. And I love a bike. So what about a bike? Well, I used to really like to ride a bike, but I can't ride a bike because I'm afraid I'll fall over. And I'm like, take no for encouragement. All right. So what about a trike? And so he was like, really, a trike? We did a ton of research. I found a company that makes a trike. Most of them have little back wheels,
right? But
with a big back wheel that would fit in a trainer, a home trainer. So we found the bike, the trike. He bought it. We got him set up with a trainer. He backs it into his garage, clips it into the trainer, gets on, falls in love with this thing.
Wow!
And now we can't get him off it, right? So first he started on the trainer, then he started riding around his neighborhood. Next thing we know, he's out there like 45 minutes a day on a bike, having never really thought he could ever do any of this again. Wow. So that was an amazing experience. That story gets so much better because the company that made the trike is called Velotechnik. They're a German company. And I just saw this success in this guy and this whole thing. And I found the website for this company. We just found it on the internet. We didn't know anything about trikes. And I just wrote them a note and said, hey, I don't want anything. I'm just going to have this company, Coach Me Strong. And I just want to tell you the story about this guy. And I tell them the story and I send it off into, these forms on the websites to go contact me. You think it's just going to go to the stars and never come back. And like 4 hours later, I get a note back from the guy that said, hey, I just read your thing. I looked at your website. I saw you're a cyclist, blah, blah, blah. I love what you're doing. We have a new old stock trike in our warehouse somewhere in the Midwest that we can't sell. The dealers don't want it. We can't do anything with it. It's sitting there. Can we give it to you that you can lend to your clients? And I was like, yeah. So like a week later, the thing shows up. I build it up and I start lending it to clients to try it. And this is like just, this is just somebody who wanted to help building on what we do to help people. It was just another layer of seeing goodness on top of goodness on top of goodness. And so we have the thing, it's in my garage. And, when clients come in, they want to ride a bike. The first thing they say is, I think I'm going to fall over. It's like, I got a solution for you.
Right.
So cool stuff like that's happening to us all the time.
Amazing. And so what are your suggestions for someone with Parkinson's for their workout? So what would a workout for someone with Parkinson's look like? What are you telling them to do?
So let me back up just a tiny bit on that. So our coaches are physical therapists, exercise physiologists, kinesiologists first, with experience with neurological challenges. Gotcha. And we've trained them in structured training.
Oh, okay.
The easy part, right? Gotcha. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
We can't take a personal trainer and teach them about Parkinson's.
Right.
We can take somebody who's worked with Parkinson's for a long time and teach them structured training in 4 hours. It's not that complex.
Yeah.
So everybody's different.
Okay.
Parkinson's shows up differently in every single person. There's no two Parkinson's cases that are alike. It's just the nature of this. There are so many different variations, and people's, chemistry and physiology makes everything different. Some people tremor, some people have freezing of gait, some people only have cognitive. It's all different.
Wow.
So we do an intake form and we align the client with the right coach.
Okay.
right? If somebody comes in with lots of underlying orthopedic stuff, we give them to a physical therapist.
Okay.
If somebody comes in, old and frail, we give them to one of our exercise physiologists who knows how to manage it. So we align them very carefully with the coaches, and then the coaches figure it out.
Nice.
So there is no one program, right?
Right.
And we have a workout library that we can draw from, but then they fill the calendar with what's appropriate.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
and see, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
So if somebody comes in with balance issues, which is very common in Parkinson's, they get tons of core exercise. If they're falling, they get tons of upper body because people tend to grab things. We want their upper body to be strong so they don't get hurt. If they have freezing of gait, we do lots of lower body, leg strength, things like that, so they can get their mind to overcome this frozen state. We do things like this that are very specific to the individual person. There's no two clients have the same workout. Not unlike me with my cycling coaches.
Right.
I mean, I'm very specific, right? I race on the track. I'm going after very specific kinds of time trials, something like that. So I get a workout specific. Right. Even though, my coach has 20 clients. Right. I get what I need to accomplish my goals. It's the same thing we do with our clients, right? We give them what they need to accomplish their goals.
And, and that's very impressive because, like you said, you have people who are skilled in dealing with this. Plus, you're giving people basically a custom workout.
It is a custom workout.
Yes, depending on what they need. Mm-hmm. So that's very impressive because it's so much more than just, like you said, here's a cycling thing. Like for me, I work out strength training or, whatever. But you also have some other people that have other disabilities or neurological challenges. Stuff. Yeah. That you work with. And who are those people?
So we take on pretty much anybody who wants to exercise, right? Okay. We have one coach who had a traumatic brain injury. She gets the traumatic brain injury people. We have somebody who's had some experience working with MS I think she was one of the physical therapists. So she gets the MS people. We have one guy came in newly diagnosed, brand new, almost no symptoms, but was just starting to exhibit, but he's a massive cyclist. So one of our coaches is an Ironman, certified Ironman coach. So he went, bing, you went there. So it all kind of lines up like that. And then they develop the programs appropriate to each person. And we start with, what do you like to do? Gotcha. How much time do you have? What do you think is fun?
Okay. And you don't necessarily need to live in the San Diego area for this, right?
Oh, no. The coaches are everywhere.
Yeah.
One in Iowa, one in Texas, one in Spain, couple here. Yeah. And the clients are everywhere. We just took on somebody in New Jersey. They're everywhere. So when you travel, it's awesome because, you just tell your coach, hey, I'm going to be in the camper next week. And then you get a series of exercises you can do in the camper.
Nice. And how did you come up to think about this network of professional people? Because I know you said you got this idea from basically your process with cycling, but this has gone to a whole new level, because you're actually pulling in people who have specialties in different areas, plus teaching them the structured workout part. How did you just come up with that? And how did you find this network of people?
So it started with one friend. Okay. The first coach. Okay. Exercise physiologist. Mm-hmm. I've known her forever. And threw this idea down. Do you want to try this? And she was like, yeah, let's try it. And from that, we got another one. And then somebody referred another one. And this coach went to college with that coach. That's how we do it. Very grassroots. It's very rare someone calls me up and says, hey, I want to be a coach. Right. We're very, very careful about this because, there's a lot on the line. Yeah, there's a lot on the line for people. Wow. And then we also take people who just don't know how to exercise, right? Want to exercise, don't know how to exercise. So my now friend who does our websites for us, broke her leg, right? had physical therapy, finished physical therapy. The insurance ran out. And, after whatever it was, 4 or 5 weeks, and was told to go exercise and had no idea how. Right. So she went in the program and we gave her to one of the PTs who's now understands structured training. And those guys worked together for 3 or 4 months. And she now has a much cleaner vision of what it looks like when someone says, go exercise.
Right.
Right. And that's the key to it.
So let's say I get into your program. Is it an ongoing basis, or is it after 3 or 4 months and I say, okay, I think I know how to make a plan for myself? Is that what it is? Or can I stay with the coach in your program long term?
Yeah, both. Absolutely both. Personally, I've been coached nonstop for like 10 or 12 years now on the bike. Right. And as soon as I became a master's athlete, it's like, I got to do this so I get fast and don't get hurt. We have clients who came in the first week who are still in. We have clients who come in and out in a couple of months, and we're gracious about both. When my first client left, like a couple of months in, I took it so personally. It's like, oh, you can't leave. I just built this company and it's amazing. And why would you leave? And then, then I realized that, we're also a training organization, right? So if somebody comes in, and most people are very upfront about this, or I'm upfront about it too. It's like, if you want to come in for 3 months, we will actually focus on teaching you how to do this so you can leave. Right. And then we send you off with a program. You still have access to the software, even though we can't do anything new on it. You can go back and repeat your months if you want, over and over and over. So, we want people to have the freedom to, I do charge people to come in for 2 or 3 months. Okay. Right. And we have a 30-day cancellation fee. So you're kind of stuck in, by the time you wake up, you get into it, you're in there for 2 months anyway. And that was really on purpose to keep people in there for a couple of months. Right. But no, when people leave, we're like, awesome. How can we help? Keep coming to the bike ride, keep going to the hikes, keep going, doing all this stuff. Let's just keep you going. And if you want to join back up. If you don't, awesome. Then we got you on your way. And we go back to that tagline, right? You were told to exercise. Now we've taught you how. So I don't care if they leave, as long as they're exercising, as long as they're moving their bodies. Right. But like, you could come in. So this is a good example, right? You could honestly come into the program. It's $149 a month. And we would align you with the proper coach for you. And you say you're strength training, right? And you've been in the military, so you have some level of fitness background and things like that. But again, it's like, are you getting the proper recovery? Are you getting the proper rest? Are you getting the proper balance of strength and aerobic, which feed on each other? Are you getting the right nutrition for this? Are you fueling your workouts properly? Or are you just eating, hoping you have enough food for the workout? Are you getting enough hydration? Are you getting enough post-workout food? All of these things, which individually don't do a lot, but when you put them together, make the exercise program exponentially more effective. We can do that for anybody. Wow. That is amazing. So it's not just, you have to have neurological issues. You could just be an able-bodied person that wants the structure, wants the plan, wants the structure. Guidance and structure. How do you exercise? If I said to you, Trina, tell me what you did to build your exercise program. How do you stay fit? What would you say? Let's turn the tables around. I just work out. You just work out, right? Yeah. You go to the gym. Yeah. Somebody gave you a leg workout, an upper body workout, and you hopefully alternate them. Right. Right. And we get on the treadmill once in a while, right? Right. All right. There you go. So structure? Not so much. Yeah. Consistency? Well, I'm consistent now. All right. Well, that's good. Accountability. What about accountability? I'm my own accountability person, but of course you're right. When you do have somebody, it's, you're held to that because you don't want that person nagging on you. Exactly. Sometimes we call ourselves the anti-nagging company because care partners, generally the spouse, knows that their loved one with Parkinson's has to exercise. Parkinson's has lethargy as a as a symptom.
Okay.
So often there's a ton of nagging going on. Did you walk? Did you run? Did you do this? Did you do that? So we try to take that responsibility and put it on the coach. One thing we have found, another one of the surprise benefits, is that in some cases that has actually opened up space in people's relationships. When we get that nagging thing off the table and the coach takes it on, that people are actually doing better around exercise, and the care partners, the spouses, will sometimes, join in, do the walks, do some of the stretching and things like that. So, again, there are endless little side benefits we didn't know were going to happen here. But we talk a lot about Parkinson's, but, to me, it seems natural to be a coached athlete, right? I mean, there's no way I could be as successful on the bike as I am on my own.
Right.
I know it, but I wouldn't do it for me. I can do it for other people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it for me. But it's the same situation now where anybody tells anybody to go exercise. Generally a doctor telling a patient, or a nurse practitioner telling a patient or something to go exercise. And then, they say, oh, awesome. Okay. And they, slam the door behind them as they leave the office, and they get in the car. It's like,
right.
Now what?
Yeah.
Where do you go? But fitness coaching has been around for a long time, but it's always seems like it's reserved for athletes.
Right.
It doesn't have to be reserved for athletes. It has to be accessible to anybody who wants to be stronger, feel better, get healthier, and be as efficient and effective as possible with whatever their exercise regime is.
Yeah. And it's funny because the doctor that's usually telling you need to exercise is usually fat.
Yeah, I would never say that because I own the company, but since you said it, I can laugh.
I said it because I don't have that company.
I mean, that guy should be our client.
Yeah, actually, you're right. He should, because when you're telling people, oh, you should go exercise, and you're looking at you like, well, maybe you should too.
Of course, I'm in San Diego, right? I mean, this is the fitness capital of the universe. So.
Right. Yeah. So you guys have all the pretty people there.
We do.
That's fun. Oh my goodness. So, let's talk a little bit about some of your other things you're doing, because we've talked about the Coach Me program, which was the focus, and it's great, but you're doing so many things. And it's funny because I like what you said. You said that you're finally doing something that's working, like directly helping other people. And that is your Coach Me Strong. So with the other things that you did, what is the difference that you're seeing with what you were doing before and this? What makes this so special for you?
So, the scuba thing, filmmaking it's entertainment, right? So you can just take that and say, okay, we're making people laugh, cry, think, whatever. So that's great, but that's just its thing, right? And the scuba thing was interesting because we took scuba, and you're an experienced diver, so you understand this. And we shifted training in scuba and did a bunch of firsts. We had the first online program of education in scuba. We were the first agency to teach. I shouldn't say that. We were the second agency, but the first sort of mainstream agency to teach people to dive without touching the bottom. So we teach neutral buoyancy at the very beginning, and horizontal position in the water, and never, ever, ever, ever touch the bottom. So our open water students, our very first day students, never kneel on the bottom and crush all those little creatures that the slightly bigger creatures eat, and then crush those creatures. So we started this whole thing based on a concept of team diving. So it's no longer a buddy system. It's a team. Team is a thing, right? It's a unit, because buddy system and diving, it's like two people in the same ocean.
Right.
You know that, you turn around and they're off taking a picture someplace. We're not like that. This is team diving, teams of 2 or 3. They work together. They're each other's backup. They're thinking together. They're planning together. They're training together. And so we built this whole idea of team diving, which comes from cave diving and technical diving. And we brought it to the recreational diving market. So day one, first day, our students never touched the bottom. They're always in control of their buoyancy in the water. And, it's so funny in San Diego, we'll have a class and they're out there and they're hanging and they're swimming around. They see a group of another class where the instructor's standing on the bottom.
Yeah.
And the students are kneeling on the bottom. And our students are like, what the hell?
Yeah.
They'd never seen anything like that. So we broke some ground there. Mm-hmm. Basically, we've made really, really safe and conscious and aware divers. Mm-hmm. So that helps people in a big way, right? Do I see the benefits directly in the divers? Yeah, sometimes, but it's not like in Coach Me Strong,
right?
Where I see somebody who can barely walk,
right?
I mean, we had a guy come in last year, and his goal was to get back on his Triumph motorcycle.
Okay.
This is what he wanted.
Okay.
And, our coach worked with him with this goal in mind for like 6 months, 7 months, something. And about 3 weeks ago, he got on the motorcycle, took his first ride in like 4 years.
Wow. And
we're like, this is crazy good. This is just crazy good because this is such a direct benefit. And I went over, I saw him the other day, to help him with something. And his garage is like this amazing motorcycle shop. Wow. He just loves motorcycles. He's got like 5 Triumphs in there and he's got pictures all over the walls and he's building engines, but he couldn't ride it. Wow. And we got him to where he could get back riding.
Yeah.
That's a powerful, powerful story for me.
Yeah.
Same with the guy with the trike, right?
Yes.
These are powerful stories that impact people's lives in this very direct and very powerful way. So, this is the thing that happened to me when I started Coach Me Strong, is that I really started to understand that you can have a business. It can be profitable, it can take money from people. It's okay as long as you give them good service. Mm-hmm. And it can do amazingly good work in the world. And that's kind of where we are with Coach Me Strong.
So with Coach Me Strong, with everything that you've seen and what you just said, how has that impacted you personally? Besides just being the person who, this is your company and this is what you're doing, what's been the benefit to you personally?
So I'm at a point where I'm trying to figure out when is a good time for me to stop working.
Okay.
Just ride my bike. And when I look at all the things I've done, and I swore after the scuba thing, I'd never start another company. Mm-hmm. If I get to complete my working career with this company, I will feel like, my life is a success.
Yeah.
It's that simple, right? Because now all of a sudden, everything I've done in the past, mm-hmm. Managing big crews on film sets, writing all this content for scuba, training on the bike, all of that kind of allowed me to build Coach Me Strong in a very short period of time and have it successful. So to me, I hate the idea of a legacy, right? I'm going to have a legacy to go out with. I don't care about that. What I care about is, for me personally, inside, this is what I end up with.
Do you feel that this is what you were meant to do?
I don't know. I kind of feel like I was meant to do it all.
Okay.
It just happened that this came up.
Right.
And, I said yes.
Okay. Makes sense. Okay. This episode is being sponsored by True Vision. Have you lost hope in starting your business? Lost steam or just do not know where to go from here? See with True Vision and define your path. The True Vision Project seeks to heal, rebuild, and transform your online business from the inside out. For more information and early access for only Trina Talk listeners into the True Vision Project, send an email to connect@definingpaths.info. Make sure to mention that you heard about it on Trina Talk. Well, are you ready for the questions? Because I think, I'm going to learn a lot with some of these questions.
All right. And I have no idea what they are. And nor did I know they were coming. So that's awesome.
Who or what motivates you?
Strength.
Okay. What demotivates you?
Weakness.
When was a time that something was said or done to hurt you, but it worked for your good?
Ooh. I have the golden sieve of memories. I kind of forget that stuff really fast. So I don't know if I could actually pin that down without a couple of days of thought, because stuff rolls off me.
Oh, that's good for you. What is your fear?
Seriously, weight gain.
Okay, that's not surprising. So I'm not going to ask you those other two because you said that stuff runs off of you. What is your definition of success?
Oh, self-satisfaction, for sure.
Okay. How do you recharge?
Well, if you asked me that today, I don't really know how to answer it, because 2 days ago, I raced the World 6-hour time trial championships.
On a bike?
And I'm still recovering on a bike. Yeah. So I'm still recovering from that. So generally I'd say go off on a really fun bike ride, but that was not a really fun bike ride. That was just a buster. But yeah, I mean, I just get out on the fun days and I get on my bike and I get lost in the hills of San Diego, and, I ride with my wife or I ride with my friends, and I come back ready for the day.
What are you awesome at?
I think I'm awesome at me.
Just being you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not trying to be anything else or anybody. I just like,
yeah.
I like what's around me,
That's lovely. Give the listeners one motivational takeaway.
Oh, that's easy. Start it. If you're not doing it, start exercising. If you are doing it, make sure it's structured. And if you're doing it with structure, give yourself a pat on the back.
Tell the listeners how they can connect with you if they want to take part in Coach Me Strong and whatever else you got going on.
Yeah, coachmestrong.com. It's super easy. There's a link on the page that says, do you want to set up an info meeting? Click here, and we'll call you right back and we'll talk to you about it and see. I think the other thing about this is that, I'm really interested in bringing structured, proper exercise to people who don't know what it is or how to do it. So if anybody ever told you you should exercise and you're like, awesome, I have no idea what that means, you should call me up.
Wow. And I think that's for a lot of people.
It's for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we have this constituency of Parkinson's and MS and all that and older, but it's for anybody who doesn't know how to exercise. And I think that's most of the population.
Right.
I mean, look, in my world, I'm surrounded by athletes, particularly masters athletes. And a lot of us, people like me, have been, I was on cross country skis as a kid. I've been riding a bike for 45 years. We know how to exercise.
Right.
We know how to be coached. We know how to do structure. We know how to be consistent, all of that. I think that is a tiny minority.
Right.
And I'm colored by it because, of course, I live in San Diego.
Right. But no, I agree. I think that is a small minority because, like you were saying, people go to the doctor and, oh, you have diabetes or whatever, you need to exercise. And okay. And most of the people who they tell that to are people who have never exercised before.
Exactly. And then what?
Yeah,
then what?
exactly.
Seriously, then what? This is what I don't understand. Then what? Right? PT is the same thing, right?
Yes.
You go into PT, you do PT, your insurance runs out. Here's your Xerox photocopied exercises. See ya.
Yep.
Then what? Two or three of our coaches are PTs, and they've actually brought people into Coach Me Strong when the insurance ran out, so they can keep working with them. And right now we're $149 a month. It's like, that's one PT visit if you had to self-pay it. And we get a month of training out of it and a relationship with the coach and structure and communication, everything. So it's like, why not?
Yeah, I think Coach Me Strong is amazing and you're doing some great things. And I hope that more people can come to you and get that structured workout plan, because it is important for just your life in general. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'm grateful you said that.
Well, Thank you, Jeff, for being on Trina Talk. I mean, I've learned a lot and it's been amazing. And I know the listeners have. So listeners, if you are looking for that structure exercise and you need that help, please reach out to Jeff and go to coachmestrong.com.
Awesome. Trina, it's great to have this conversation with you. I really just think it was really fun.
If you like Trina Talk podcast, please don't forget to go out to iTunes and rate it 5 stars and leave a review. Also, who else in your life do you know that needs some motivation and inspiration in their life? Don't forget to share Trina Talk with them. I hope you have a great week. And remember, if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Keep striving, because success is a journey, not a destination.